All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Founder's Cut. Today, I'm here with the founder and CEO of RedThread, Meghan. Meghan, it's so nice to have you on the show. We got to meet not too long ago through other investors that kind of warm introed us. So always kind of fun to be introduced to people that know about a founder because they've invested in them. So we happily took the meeting and we got to learn more about what you're building at RedThread. And before we jump into that in particular, the way I start all these is by asking the founders to kind of walk through their journey of current logo, current startup, current mission, and how they got to where they are.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. So prior to starting RedThread, I was working at GoPro. So my whole career has sort of been 20 plus years of fashion, technology, and retail. And so my role at GoPro as an early employee there was around building the digital e-commerce experiences. So I did that for 5 years. We got to the IPO, went public, all the great things. Prior to that, I worked at big companies like Banana Republic and smaller brands like art.com, which was an online art and framing company, a cool messenger bag company called Chrome Bags. We did customized bag experiences. And I started my career actually in consulting at Deloitte and AC Nielsen, crunching data and building decks and things like that. So really my career has been about, retail, fashion, using technology to create these sort of face melting experiences and shopping experiences and unique products. And that's what we're doing at RedThread. We've taken this sort of old art of tailoring that's not accessible to most people and use technology to make it really easy and accessible to everyone.
I love it. And something that you brought up to me that was pretty fascinating was just the current industry itself. You talked about how the current model is a little bit broken, right? And I'd love for you to kind of explain a little bit more about what I mean by that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like most founder stories, RedThread started with my own personal frustration with finding clothes that fit me, right? So I had to have kids, my body changed. All I wanted was a great fitting pair of black pants that I could wear to work and wear on the weekends, and just nothing quite fit me right. And I started asking my friends, they had the same issue. I started looking at data. And if you look at the data, the whole system of sizing is really broken. It's super outdated. But just mathematically, if you look at all the body data and the number of sizes, whether it's 10, 20, 30, there's no possible mathematical way that the sizes can fit anybody, all bodies, in a really great way. So what ends up happening is we buy things and we return it. We're dissatisfied. We feel bad about our bodies, all those things. And so I just knew there had to be a better way, and a better way to help people feel great in their bodies. And, I grew up in Buffalo. My mom was a seamstress. We used to go to Joann's every week and she would make me these beautiful custom dresses. And they fit me perfectly. I had a sort of an awkward, lanky body. And I was like, how can we deliver that custom, beautiful experience that makes you feel great in your skin, but make it easy, right? Because not everyone can go measuring and all that. And that's how we've developed our solution. So we basically have gotten rid of sizes. Everything we make is custom. And we do it in just 1 week, and all we need is 2 photos. So we've made it really easy. We're sort of democratizing custom fit for everybody.
Yeah, you used the word delivery, and the first thing that I thought of after we got off our first call was it's the last mile delivery for fitting for people and their clothes. So,
Yeah.
brands do a good job of getting 80, 90% of the way there, but that last 10% is the most important, right? Doesn't matter how good it kind of fits. If it doesn't fit properly, what's the point, right? So, talk to me a little bit about some of the impact you've made so far. You know, prior to a service like yours, just a regular brand, we don't need to name any brands. What's their traditional return rate versus if they use a service like yours on top of what they're already offering?
Yeah, so reducing returns is sort of our superpower, right? So we're learning that over 50% of people buy 2 sizes. So then you have an automatic return there when they return the other one. And also, they order them and sometimes none of them fit them. And fit is the #1 reason for returns. So most online apparel retailers are anywhere from 20 to 25%. That's the average. And with custom fit, because it's right the first time and we guarantee it, we're seeing return rates of like 8%. So that's a reduction of 2/3 for companies. And, returns can be very, very costly. But that is really kind of where we're creating a lot of excitement is reducing that return and giving women their perfect fit, because then they also buy again. Once you have their measurements, they're like, oh, I'm only buying from this company that has my measurements. So it's super sticky as well.
Yeah. How long have you been working on this now?
So we launched, actually, it was 5 years ago that we launched. We've been doing it for 6 years. So it was like about a year and a half of development. We're actually coming up on our anniversary. April 2017 was when I finally got the courage to quit my corporate job and start RedThread.
So coming up on 6 years now in April.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Well, what are some of the things you're most proud about in the first 6 years of being in this industry? I'm assuming you're breaking new ground for a lot of people. So I haven't heard much about what you're offering until we had a chance to chat. And obviously, there's some other things that might sound similar, but not exactly what you're doing. So
Yeah, well, we started with this vision of we knew custom fit was the only way to get great fit and the only way to make us all feel great about the fit of our clothing. But it's really hard. So we were like, how do we make it easy? And how do we make it affordable? And I will tell you, everybody thought we were crazy. I mean, the amount of people who like shut the doors on us and were like, well, why don't you just add more sizes? Or why don't you just do it this way? And I was like, no, it has to be custom. It has to be on demand. It has to be zero waste production, and it has to fit great. And so I think that was probably the biggest challenge, was proving that this could actually work. And it's taken a lot of development and a lot of time and a lot of data analysis to get there. But I think that's what I'm most proud of, is sort of proving that this sort of technology can work and proving that people actually want it. I mean, what keeps us going, you can read our reviews and the emails we get. It's just people are fanatical about what we do more than any other apparel brand, because we meet them where they are. Not where people think they should be. And we get comments like, oh my gosh, you've changed my life. I could never find things that fit me. They always made me feel bad about myself. And I'm really proud of that as well, as all those emails and comments that we get from people that, that's what keeps us going.
no, that makes a lot of sense, right? If you don't feel comfortable in the clothes that you're in, then it's kind of hard to walk out and in public and feel confident. Obviously, like there's more that goes into it than just the clothes, but
Right.
it does play a big part.
It helps, yeah.
Yeah. I might have jumped the shark a bit. If I am a customer, like someone that just wants to buy something, am I buying directly from you, or am I buying from a logo and then there's like a intermediary step that kind of comes into play?
Yeah. Well, there's actually two ways to buy from us moving forward. So we started as a direct brand to make that perfect fitting black pant. And then we made a jacket, and then we made a dress. And that is, you go to our website, you pick the piece, you check out, you snap 2 photos, and we ship it to your door in 1 week. But what we're doing now is we're actually partnering with other brands. So imagine a world where you go to your favorite jean company or your favorite button-up shirt company or pant company, and you skip the sizes and you pick the RedThread custom fit. After you check out, you take 2 photos, and we create a custom fit version of that design and ship it to you in 1 week. So you're not just limited with black pants and black dresses anymore. All of these beautiful apparel brands can now be custom fit moving forward. And we've had some really exciting progress in that area of the business. So you'll see a few of those launching pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And when you can announce them, let me know so I can reshare and shout it out.
I
So
will.
in terms of, you kind of mentioned the process for customers. Is it just 2 photos? Someone takes a camera and holds it, and then takes a front facing photo and a profile photo of you, and it's about it. The magic is after that and in your hands.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So basically, after you check out, we send you a secure link to your phone. You don't have to download an app or anything like that. You just wear tight fit clothing, click the link. You can prop it up, on a coffee table, or have someone hold it. And just 2 photos, we get all the measurements we need. We delete the photos. No one sees the photos, so don't worry about that. And then we have a patent pending algorithm that creates your custom pattern. And then we make it in Reno, Nevada, and ship it out in 1 week.
And it doesn't need any references in the background for like scaling or size or anything like that. It just
Well,
works.
what we do is we ask your height and weight. And
Okay.
the reason for that is, if I mentioned I'm a data nerd, it basically looks at the angle of the phone. It has to be done on a phone because it can measure your angle, and then the distance you are, and then your height and your weight to triangulate a lot of the measurements. And then we use AI and a huge database of over 2 million body measurements to figure out what your exact measurements are.
And then tell me about some of the traction. Do you have lifelong customers now? Have you had people that have been on the platform since day one that continue to come back? And how universal is your solution with the version where it's not associated with a brand? Can you do this with pretty much anything?
We can do it with pretty much anything. It's just a matter of getting that piece and putting it, we fit it on a lot of real people to perfect our algorithm to make sure that we get it right. Because it's based on style and design intent and the fabric and all of those things. But we can do that pretty quickly. And our traction so far, I mentioned earlier our return rate, which is 8% versus 20 to 25%. So that's been our biggest win. But it is super sticky. Our repeat rate is over 50%. So most brands are running about 25 to 30. And that's with only a few pairs of black pants and a jacket. We don't have a huge assortment. So a lot of people have 5 pants for every day of the week. And the reason is that once you get the fit right,
Yeah.
then we'll buy everything from you, right? And they don't even, and once it's stored, they don't have to do the photos again. So, or unless you want to and your body changes. So this is why I'm so excited about partnering with other brands, because it makes our impact much faster, because style, it'll be any style that you want, and you'll be able to get your custom fit delivered to your door.
So we talked a little bit about how much you can reduce the amount of returns, going from like an average of 30% down to under 10. I think you said 8%. Talk me through how much of an impact that makes on a brand's bottom line at the end of the year.
Yeah, so returns are a huge cost to most apparel brands, right? Because not only are you paying the return shipping and processing, which can be 15 to 20 bucks, but also a lot of times they're unusable, or you just, you scrap them, right? I mean, I've worked at bigger companies where it just wasn't even worth our time to process the return. So we're saying if you're a $100 million, apparel brand, you're probably spending about 8 to 10%, 8 to 10 million a year on those returns. And we can reduce that down by 4 to 5 million or 4 to 6% on your EBITDA. So, $4 to $5 million worth of savings on a $100 million brand is a huge win for any brand.
Yeah, it seems like a no-brainer to me if that's the case. Um, I guess from a consumer side, where someone's got to take that cost on, right? So how much of an impact is that for someone that's buying a product and then sending it to you for the fitting, for the custom fitting?
Yeah, so how it works is we actually charge the consumer a little bit more for their custom piece. So it depends on the type of work we're doing, but it can be anywhere from $20 to $40. So instead of going to the tailor and getting it tailored, they're getting their perfect custom fit made from scratch just for them. So there is going to be an extra cost to having the custom fit rather than the standard sizes. But they'll save time, money by not having to go to a tailor, and they get their perfect fit delivered right to them.
20 to 40 bucks is not a big deal when the brands are a little bit higher. Have you had thoughts about, doing your own, like, your own branded clothes for people that, like, I mean, you have so much data at your fingertips. Do you think there's a world where you could take more of the profits by just creating products that are very similar to other brands that your customers already want? Because, like, at the end of the day, like, no one knows what pair of jeans I'm wearing for the most part, but if they fit well, I don't care if they're your brand or some other brand, right? So,
Yeah.
has that been something that you've explored, or is the model just makes sense to just kind of take other people's brands? And do you think you can reduce the cost from 20 to 40 when you get to a higher scale or with those collaborations with logos?
Yeah, we're really focused on premium brands that have that higher price point that are investment pieces. So to your point, $20 to $40 is something that, and just taking the photos you want to do and have it, be something that you're keeping for a while. And so we have built our own product and we have done that direct side of the business. But I think it's always going to be limited by style and aesthetic. So what we'd rather do to have a bigger impact is actually partner with other brands who built these great, businesses and design teams and, apparel, like our superpower is fit. There are other
Mhm.
brands who do a great job at design, photography, branding, and all of those things. So what we want to do is make those brands fit better. That
Sure.
is really our mission at this point, because then you can get, someone likes a bright colored blouse versus black pants. They can get all of those things and work with us, with a company that meets them where they are and gets them their perfect fit. So that's the path that we're going down at this point.
One more question for user experience, just because I feel like it's important for this one.
Yeah.
If I were to buy a product, do I need to upsize so then you can make alterations, or does it matter? Like, how does that all work? Like, if I were to buy something from from a store and then have it get sent to you for adjustments?
Yeah, all you do is take 2 photos from our secure link and we do everything. So, and you don't even pick a size. So
Oh,
you don't
okay.
even have to go through that trauma of like, which size am I,
I
right? What's
see.
the chart say? So all you do is you pick custom fit and then we take care of everything
Got
for
it.
you.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you kind of diving deep into the product itself and the opportunity and the value prop, right? I think it makes a lot of sense for it's a win-win for everybody. The brands get better margins because you have to take into account the returns and unhappy customers and people ultimately want to make sure that when they spend their money, they're getting good value for their dollar. So I totally understand why it's working so well for you. Um, Shifting gears a bit, I think sometimes I have founders that listen to these episodes more than anyone else. Uh, Talk to me about some of the things that you've enjoyed the most about being a founder and some of the things you've enjoyed the least about being a founder.
That's a great question. I've always loved building things. So building things with people and with teams is something I've always loved doing and have done through my whole career. So that is really fun. And building something that's actually solving a problem and then hearing feedback that it's solving the problem has been incredible. I think that's the best part. And it's also something that I'm passionate about, right? Which is like female body positivity and also the planet, right? Like we're building things on demand. So we're not creating all this apparel waste. So those are the really great things is building, I would say, and working with a team that loves to build as well. I think the hardest things have been, there's just so many bumps along the way and so many no's. And I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But just at the beginning, no one wanted to partner with us. No one wanted to sew with us. No one wanted to design for us, So really have to have that perseverance and that tenacity. And some days it's really tough to have that, right? Some days you just don't get there. But I really try to bring my best self every day, and kind of work through those things. But I would say that's the toughest part for sure.
Yeah, I think we are doing founders a disservice if we don't talk about the fact that the no's are hard and there's going to be a lot of them because inherently if you're doing something that's changing the game in whatever way you're changing it, most people's first reaction is to be skeptical, be adversarial, be doubtful. And so it's actually a good signal to a certain extent, right? If you've been doing it for
Right.
10 years and you're still getting no's, then maybe not.
Yeah.
But, in the first 12, 18, 24 months, expect 99% of the people to feel that way about whatever it is you think you're doing. They're going to think it's stupid, it's not needed, it's
Yeah.
not scalable, it's too expensive, it's whatever. And it's important for people to know that that's actually a good signal that you're onto something that everyone else hasn't thought about, right? So
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense, but I think it's important and I'm glad that you brought it up because oftentimes I think founders go into this thinking this is a great idea, everyone's going to love it, and reality is they step out into the real world and not everyone loves it, nor gets it, nor wants it, right? And so, yeah, that's part of the game of it all.
Yeah.
Kind of as we get closer to the end of this, I like leaving time for people to shout out whatever they want to shout out. So anything coming down the pipeline in 2023, especially how people can find your services,
Yeah.
and anything else that you might want to throw out there.
Yeah. So, if you want to reach out to us, our website is redthreadcollection.com and just email us hi@redthreadcollection.com. I would love to connect. And, I think we're really looking to partner with brands that believe in our same mission, which is 2 things. One is meeting women where they are, around body positivity and doing things specifically for women. And second is around reducing apparel waste in the world. So if you're a brand or a person or anybody who's excited about those things, like we're totally down to partners. So please reach out and like we could probably do something amazing together. You could do many more things together than you can alone. So I think that would be kind of my shout out.
Awesome. Yeah. So just to repeat, Red Thread Collection on Google, you should be able to, I think you're like the first thing that comes up when I Googled it. So it should be pretty easy
Yeah.
to find.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very, very excited that we had a chance to chat. I can only imagine how much better and sharper your product will be as you get more and more data in the future. So, my hope is that one day you'll have like a button you can click on every Shopify web front that just kind of says, "Do you want to be custom fit?" And you're powering that engine on the back end. So very
Yes,
very cool.
exactly. That's the vision. You got it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, thank you again so much for your time. And again, Red Thread Collection. If you just Google that, you'll be able to find them pretty easily. And then if you want to reach out, just give them an email. Thanks again.